I lived in the Hampton Place neighborhood several years ago. I had to have a pressure regulator put on in my house because the pressure was so great and blow the seals in the house.
Yes, sir.
Well, so that's my concern. Of course, the road will be torn up in order to do the water main pit, but if it can be set back, and it seems like a tremendous expense for one house, but if there could be some kind of covenant or something that would ensure that there would be only one house in the future and it wouldn't be subdivided again as in garden homes or whatever. Technology makes it available.
Maybe a covenant would have to be put on, I think, other people still divide the law. They would have to do it.
Okay, so could we request that it be listed? So that it stopped there and that we don't have, a lot of many homes going on.
That would be up to this guy to agree to a covenant. We can't force it to do it. Right. But that'd be between you and her to get a covenant.
But before it's approved, I mean, if it's open, that the possibility that other homes will go in there, then I think it should be denied.
I was just asking her what she did.
Generally, the planning and zoning board is the one who requests those covenants at the time of the subdivision plat approval. That's where it's tied to the plat. That's for the covenant to be, done then before the plat's recorded, which guarantees that we.
Now, that's rugged terrain that goes right down to the river.
Let me ask the question. It's got to come back to planning and zoning, so is there no public hearing?
It's not a public hearing coming.
Okay.
And at that time, we'll have the drawings and everything, and all of that, and the engineering drawings on it.
Okay, thank you.
Well, you've been notified again, Jim.
Great.
Darren, Mr. President, if you don't mind. Yes, sir. Darren, as far as the engineer is concerned, you mentioned the river. Would that affect the river?
Well, the storm drainage would have to be done in a way that would not adversely affect.
Okay.
It could be engineered.
Okay. All right.
Whose responsibility would be getting with the stormwater people and whoever to do
Well,
it?
the landowner, before they build anything, and the developer would have to get approval through the city, and as part of their approval, we would require that they obtain the proper permits, ADM, NPDES, and so forth.
Very good, that's what I want to make sure of. Randy?
I just wanted to make one addition to the information concerned about the cost to the city. And typically, all of this will not be at any cost for us, like the installation of all that, that would be on the property, on the repair and all that. But what we do have a record of is like if you do install a fire hydrant, we require these fire hydrants to be installed, and they put on this, what is going to become public right of way then. They belong to the Birmingham Water Works, and they charge back a fee to us, a monthly or annual fee. We rent the hydrants from them. So that's costing about $255 a year. So I mean, that would be in that. They will charge, to install the hydrant. We would require the homeowner, the property owner, to give us the money for the installation, then we in turn give that to the Birmingham Water Works. But then the monthly fee comes to the Irondale Fire Department, and we pay about 150 fire hydrants that's in the Birmingham Water Works as it is right now. And so just be aware of that. It's not, it's good. It will be there for the public use as far as like fire protection for all adjacent areas, and so it's a good thing. But that would be a little bump in the fire department budget there to cover even just one additional fire hydrant. It's just the truth.
Okay, I think we have someone else that's speaking against. Okay, yes, ma'am.
Well, my name is Karen Smith. I'm 4151 River, right across from Jenny. And much of the same concerns I have, but we came to the zoning committee, and when we were in the zoning committee, they said that it was approved based on the city engineer going out and looking at what was going on there, and no mention of being able to contain how many houses are built in that area so many of us, it's kind of like we really need very clear defined lines of what we can and cannot do, because that hadn't been clear in this process for us. And so it's not that we want to keep them from doing anything they want to do on the property, we just don't want it impacting our property values. And we really don't want a big, huge turnaround at this nice private area that it is, because they share a drive with the property y'all were talking about. The drive is partially on our zoo's property. Part of it is theirs, and then part of it is on the Guy property. So they will have to figure out how to do that there. And then, like I said, there's my property, it's very steep embankment, but that doesn't mean houses can't be built there, because if you live in Birmingham, we build houses anywhere. So just because the topography is steep will not stop, somebody who wants to build it. And we've already had people build in the, what's that called? Trillium. And they've come down with bulldozers, and we used to have much more wildlife. Of course, that's all gone because they had to do this running track and very much no trespassing and all this kind of stuff. So a lot of the mystique and charm of what we already have has already been invaded by that other subdivision access to us. And I know we can't stop progress, but we just don't want the impact on us, And right now we don't have a fire hydrant. It served us, but I don't know what the requirements, because they are long ways down in the woods for their drive. So I don't know, we're actually out of code, since you're talking about that now. Are we out of code now that we don't have a fire hydrant there? I don't know.
Code's changed.
Okay.
They come and recommended 500 feet is what we make them do now.
Yeah.
But at the time, they put that subdivision in, it was 1,000 feet.
Right.
So it's not out of code.
So we're not out of code now. That's a good thing to hear.
It was grandfathered in.
Okay.
This code came after that, 500 feet deep.
Okay. And then the other part is just the traffic. This is a narrow subdivision. This isn't a road. And getting vehicles up and down this is going to be interesting, because everybody turns in my flat driveway, and they have torn up my driveway from city trucks and long ago, they don't do it now, but then other kind of trucks that have been doing stuff, they all turn around in my flat driveway. Now my driveway's going to have to be repaired because the gas main went under.
Well, it seems like if we got a turnaround there in the street, if we
Actually, if they're going on down there, it'd be fine. But see, like the fire can't go down there. Last year they had to pause and stop in front of my driveway, and we had to get them to move so I could get out of my driveway because they could not go on down.
Well, that's what the fire
So we
chief, I
need
think, was saying, is they got to put in a turnaround for the
Yeah.
fire truck, so that would be.
But the turnaround there is not going to help get the fire truck down to the houses. They need to have it down further where they can get to those houses. They're
Yeah, I
always
think
down.
that's what we're gonna look at, when we see things come together on the plan, that will have to go down further.
If the
Yeah.
turnaround can't be on the shared driveway on somebody else's property, it has to be on this lady's property, because she can't build any part of the turnaround on something she is not on.
Okay. Well, I guess that's what's mine, is taking off
Mine
Trixie.
taken care of right now. This is for only a rezoning. It's not to give her permission to build. She still has to come back to the city for plot plans, and another public hearing that you will be noticed on. All that does is put it at R1 instead of agriculture.
Okay, because the impression
There's
I
no
was
building
given,
permit fee issued on what we're doing tonight.
the impression I was given at the zoning meeting was like, once the city council approves it, it's done.
No, that's-
And I was like,
That's just a zoning change, not building, subdividing. We don't have, that authority's not granted to
Yeah.
us.
Okay.
Ms. Smith,
It's got to come back, and you get to come back to another public hearing before you run started.
Ms. Smith, do you have anything else?
No, I don't have to take your time. I need to go to work. Bye.
Anyone else is speaking against the ordinance? Anyone else? If not, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing. I make a motion that public hearing is closed. All in favor? All opposed? All right. Go back into our regular council meeting. Under item number 3, under new business, well, no, we'll go back and for the approval of the agenda.
Make a motion to approve the agenda with the following additions, deletions, or corrections. Item number 1 under unfinished business to be tabled. Item number 1 under new business consent. Item number 2 on consent. Item number 3 needs to be changed from 2014 R-128, since it is an ordinance, to 2014-128. And then with the addition of item number 4, which is 2014 R-129.
No, that resolution is not put on the agenda. No.
2014 R.
No, we're discussing that. Yeah, we're discussing that too. It was never added.
All right. So
No.
then, all right, we'll end with item number 3.
Correct.
With that, I ask that the agenda be approved.
Second. All in favor? All opposed? Motion carried. Now is the time for any public comments to be made on agenda items only, please. Now is the time for any public comments to be made on agenda items only. Anybody would like to come forward? If not, we'll move right along to our agenda items under new business. Item number 3, be it resolved that ordinance number 2014-128 amends ordinance number 1-0598 to change the zoning from A1 to R1 residential district.
Make a motion that ordinance number 2014-128 be considered read.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Make a motion that all rules that would prevent the immediate consideration and approval of ordinance number 2014-128 be suspended and that unanimous consent be given to the immediate consideration of said ordinance.
Second.
Councilor Bearden?
Yes.
Councilor Sanderson?
Yes.
Councilor Pike?
Yes.
Councilor London?
Yes.
Yes.
Make a motion that ordinance 2014-128 be finally passed and adopted as introduced.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. That concludes our agenda items. Now is the time for any public comments to be made to the council. Yes, sir. Please come forward and state your name and address.
Peter Drive, 5004 Darlene Circle. At the last council meeting, you were waving around a piece of paper that you claimed proved your innocence and the deal with Mr. Davis. The thing was dismissed. That does not prove innocence. And I know for a fact, we're talking to a witness that you
Mr.
did
Pratt.
bump Mr. Davis.
Mr. Crime, we're not going to have that discussion right now. Since it's personal, you're more than welcome to talk about it outside the council chambers.
I'm done.
Thank you. Any other public comments to be made at this moment? Yes, sir.
John Schoen at 3848 Rock Ridge Road. And first of all, I'd like to thank the city for cleaning up the Riverwalk. It was really nice, wasn't it, Jenny? You did a great job. There's a couple of items along the Riverwalk, though, that I think that we could do some improvement with a little bit of a machine down there to regulate the water that runs through the walk. So I would appreciate if you kind of look at that. Also, I'd like to report on Crestwood Boulevard. I got out on the highway and talked to the guys. That's being done, I think, by the state. And I'd like to request that the city talk to them about maybe tearing up and refinishing a portion of Montclair Road between the overpass and 5 Points East. That's really a rough area in there. And if they can do it with the equipment that they have around there, it might be time saving and cost saving to ask them to do it at the end of their job. It would make an entrance into Irondale a whole lot smoother because it's just really bumpy going through there. Y'all understand what I'm talking about?
Is that a city, state, or county?
It's State Road.
The overpass.
Overpass on Montclair to 5 Points East. A little stretch in there.
R-78 highway.
Yeah, no, it isn't. It's Montclair.
Where
It's not
Montclair
78
merges
highway.
into 78?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
Right.
Where Putnam School is and the mobile home park.
This is what, coming on Montclair,
Okay.
coming into
Montclair's
5
a
Points.
state highway too.
It is?
Yes. Montclair Road was 78, the old 78, that was on when I was a kid, that's the way you went into town.
Montevallo, well, anyway, we'll work that out. But anyway, whoever, I'd like for the council or somebody to talk with them to see if they can do it at the end of whatever, the work they're doing right now on Crestwood Boulevard is gonna take another probably 60 days. according to the guys that were doing the work out there and refinishing, it's gonna be a great, smooth job coming through Irondale. But if we could take care of that one little stretch there and adding it on, it may cost a little money, but it would surely cost less than having a whole new crew to come in and do it sometime in the future. Also, there was an open house also at home, which is, I think most of the council people were there, opening up and giving recognizing the sale of the business and the reopening of it there at the old Walmart shopping center. And they've got a lot of stuff in there. If you have an opportunity, it'd be nice to walk in there because it's a delivery of stuff in there. It's amazing. Thank you very much.
And that's Garden Ridge is now at home.
Yeah, right.
Is it just a rename?
Well, it was sold, bought and sold, I think.
Oh.
Thank you. Any other public comments to be made to the council? Any public comments? If not, yes, sir.
My name's Jeff Bryant. I live at 2100 4th Avenue South. Okay, can y'all help me out here? I'm sitting here looking at an agenda. We wiped 3 things off the agenda just out of the blue. Why are we coming up here? This is not the agenda.
It was done on consent.
We didn't like it all.
It's not done on consent.
But y'all didn't, I don't understand.
It's debated in pre-council, and if everyone's in agreement, you can still make a comment on it in the regular council. If you said something that would cause us to change our minds, we could call for a revote.
Okay, so if we're...
It passed.
Okay, I understand, but if we're interested in these things, we need to come to the pre-council.
If there's something very specific, yes.
Okay.
And that's always at 6.
Okay, that's fine.
Well, let's, no, only in regular council meeting now, based on the discretion, from a pre-council standpoint, based on the council procedures, at the discretion of the president, whether it needs to be talked about during pre-council. Yes.
Okay, because I was just thinking if this is the council meeting, this is when it will be discussed, not a pre-council meeting. But basically, we do it either one.
At the council
All
meeting.
cities do, but it's on consent. City of Birmingham does. If all of them's in agreement on an item that's on the agenda, they consent on it. And they did, they mentioned everybody on consent, pre-council, and all 5 of them were part. So it passes.
And to answer your question, I don't have any specifics, I'm just asking in general.
That's what happened.
And a lot of people ask the same question. And particularly if there's something you're interested in, call the council person that put it on the agenda and talk to them about it first too, then they'll know your feelings if you can't be here for pre-council. I'd also point out the 2 items 1 and 2 that were on new business were actually something that we had passed the expenditure at the previous meeting, but just had to find the revenue stream for it and amend the budget from one source to bring that into one that the money wasn't there. So that's why that was so smooth. We already agreed with the items.
Sounds good, thanks.
Thank you. Any other comments?
I just want to say that, to him, if it's a topic that a citizen can have an opinion about, it's usually not passed on consent because my husband won't let it go on consent. So if you can have an opinion, but these 2 that went on consent today is, budget type stuff, and we don't really have a say.
I was just wondering why we have a meeting, but we change stuff in the pre-council meeting, but you come to the meeting, because some of us, we work 12, 13-hour days and
I'm
can't
just
make
saying
over
that
at
if it's
6.
something we can have a opinion on, he won't let it pass on consent.
All right. If nothing else, I'll take one more comment before we leave. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Teresa Green, 5524 Huntersville Road. This is to the mayor. What's the result with you and Dr. Weber going to pick up your bill?
All right, the mayor, the governor's office called me back and said we could not get an appointment at this time. And he was hooked up and we couldn't get it.